There is a reason most people live and die with their potential untouched. It isn't because they weren't smart enough. It's not because they weren't capable. It's because they never understood how to unlock what was already within them. You see, the tragedy of life is not death. It's what dies inside us while we are still alive. The dreams we ignore, the decisions we postpone, the goals we bury because fear whispers, what if it doesn't work? And let me tell you something straight. If you don't take control of your mind, life will take control of you. You'll wake up at 50 or 60 years old wondering, where did the time go? Not because you were lazy, but because you were programmed. Yes, programmed. Since the moment you were born, your subconscious mind has been soaking in beliefs, opinions, limitations, none of which were chosen by you consciously, but they became your truth. And here's the harsh reality. What you believe at the subconscious level is what controls your results every single time. Now listen closely, because this is the turning point most people never reach. Wealth is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. You don't get rich by working harder. You get rich by thinking differently. That's what the greats understood. Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But most people never reach the believe part. They skip it, they doubt, they hesitate. They give up right before the tide turns. Let me tell you, I've worked with thousands of people all over the world, from executives to entrepreneurs, from broke to wealthy, and the truth I discovered is this: there is no such thing as a money problem. There's only an idea problem. You're either living in alignment with prosperity or you're in conflict with it. And it all comes down to your programming. The paradigm you live by right now, it's a mental map. A blueprint you didn't design, but you follow it anyway. And unless you decide to rewrite that paradigm, your results will remain exactly the same, year after year. Doesn't matter how motivated you are today. If your subconscious programming is wired for struggle, no amount of effort will override it. You will self-sabotage. You will shrink back. You will make decisions based on fear instead of faith. So what do? We begin with awareness. You've got to observe your thoughts like a scientist. Where do they come from? Are they yours, or were they handed to you by a teacher, a parent, a broke society that celebrates mediocrity and calls it realistic? The truth is, you are far more powerful than you've ever been told. But power without direction is chaos. That's why decision is the starting point of all transformation. Understand this. Decision is not just about choosing what to do. It's about choosing who to become. Most people wait for conditions to be perfect. They want the path to be clear, the money to be ready, the support to be there. But that's not how success works. You must decide first. Then the universe rearranges itself around your decision. If you're still hesitating, you haven't really decided. Now let's talk about fear, because fear is the great thief. It robs people of destiny. It makes you second guess your dreams. It disguises itself as logic and whispers, be careful, but fear is a liar. The moment you face it, it loses its power. You don't eliminate fear by waiting. You eliminate fear by action. That's how you build confidence. That's how you change the paradigm. One brave decision at a time. You know what I love about this channel? It's giving you the truth. It's not sugarcoating the process. If you're listening right now, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Not just to support this channel, but because it's feeding your mind with exactly what you need to rise above the noise. You need repetition. You need saturation. You need to be immersed in this way of thinking every single day, because the old programming won't go down without a fight. Every time you listen to a message like this, you're rewiring your mind. You're planting new seeds. And the more you do it, the more your results begin to change. Not gradually, but exponentially. That's the beauty of the mind. Once you understand the laws, like the law of vibration, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of compensation, you start playing the game of life from a higher level. Not hoping, but knowing. You are not your past. You are not your bank account. You are not your mistake. You are a spiritual being with infinite potential, living in a physical body, gifted with a marvelous mind. But you must take responsibility for it. You must become the guardian of your thoughts, because thoughts become things. Not sometimes, every time. This is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to reprogram your subconscious mind, how to use the universal laws to your advantage, and how to lock in the wealth mindset so deeply that it becomes your automatic way of living. But for now, I want you to remember this. The greatest power you possess is the power to decide. Decide today that you will no longer be controlled by old beliefs. Decide that you will no longer shrink to fit into other people's expectations. Decide that from this moment forward, your life is going to be an expression of abundance, not limitation. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. That's why the pictures you allow to dominate your imagination are so critical. You're building your future every time you engage in thought. Now the question becomes, are you building what you want, or are you recreating what you fear? Most people don't even realize that they are meditating all day long on their limitations, on their doubts, on their scarcity, and that's exactly what they continue to attract. You must begin to imagine your life the way you truly want it. Not the way it is now, not the way people told you it should be, but the way you desire it to be. And you've got to do it with emotion, with faith, and with repetition. This is not wishful thinking. This is mental programming. This is how you take control of the internal mechanism that governs your results. Wealth begins in the mind. Poverty also begins in the mind. Success and failure, they are both created in the same mental factory. The tools are the same, but what differs is how they're used. If you allow doubt to sit in your mind long enough, it will become your truth. But if you nurture belief, if you keep watering the seed of your vision, it will break through the soil of your old self and grow into results you've never imagined. Now, here's something most people don't understand. Success is not hard. Staying the same is hard. Living paycheck to paycheck is hard. Waking up every day dreading your job is hard. Regret is hard. But creating success, that's a decision. That's a daily ritual. That's falling in love with growth and letting go of the need for approval. You don't need the world to believe in you. You just need you to believe in you. Let's talk about persistence. Persistence is not about trying hard, it's about becoming so emotionally involved with your goal that quitting no longer feels like an option. That's the kind of mindset that creates miracles. Not motivation, not hype, but quiet, focused, determined persistence. The kind that gets up at 5 a.m. when it doesn't feel like it. The kind that studies while others sleep. The kind that keeps visualizing when the results haven't shown up yet. Because it knows the law of cause and effect is always working even when it seems slow. Everything you're doing right now is creating your future, your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions. This moment is the cause. The result shows up later. That's why faith is so important. Faith is not blind belief. Faith is the ability to see with your inner eye what hasn't yet appeared in the physical world. Faith is knowing the laws work even when your senses try to tell you otherwise. Let me remind you of something you've probably forgotten. Your intuition is your greatest guide. It's the quiet voice that whispers there's more. It's the inner nudge that tells you to take the leap, to start the business, to leave the job, to write the book, to speak your truth. And most people silence that voice with logic. They analyze until they paralyze. But the greatest decisions you will ever make in your life won't come from logic. They'll come from inner knowing. That's where all great movements begin. Inside. Now, if you're still watching this video, you're not here by accident. Something in you is waking up. You've been pulled to this message because it's time. It's time to rise. It's time to break the cycle. It's time to walk away from average and step into your greatness. And I want you to know something, you don't have to do it alone. That's why this channel exists. That's why these messages keep showing up in your feed. Because your higher self is trying to get your attention. Hit that subscribe button now, not for me, for you. Because if you don't create an environment that supports your growth, you'll fall back into the old pattern. You can't grow while swimming in the same ideas that made you small. Surround yourself with truth. Surround yourself with power. Make this channel your daily dose of clarity. Let these ideas saturate your mind until the old beliefs dissolve completely. You must understand you are not broken. You are just programmed. And programming can be changed. Through study, through repetition, through decision. That's the great news. You can decide today to become a new version of yourself. You can build new beliefs. You can form new habits. You can shift your self-image to match the life you desire. But no one can do it for you. This is your work, your responsibility, your privilege. And now we begin to align with the universal laws. The law of vibration tells us everything is energy. And energy is always moving. You're never standing still. You're either moving toward expansion or contraction, toward life or death, toward freedom or fear.
And the only way to shift your vibration is to shift your thoughts and your feeling. That's why goals are so important. Not because of what they get you, but because of who they require you to become. You don't set goals to get things. You set goals to grow, to stretch, and when you grow into the kind of person who can achieve big goals, you'll find that the things were just a bonus. The real prize is the new self you become in the process. That's what we're after. Permanent transformation, a new identity, a new frequency. In part 3, we're going to take everything you've learned so far and build it into a blueprint for living. I'll walk you through the daily rituals, the mental disciplines, and the universal truths that successful people live by, not just for a week or a month, but as a way of life. Remember, this is your time. The past is not your potential. You're not here to survive, you're here to thrive. And it all starts with how you think, how you feel, and how you decide.
Now let's talk about the most powerful force in the universe that you can control, decision. Not just small choices. I mean, real decisions, the kind that change your destiny. You see, most people think they're making decisions, but they're really just making preferences. They prefer wealth over struggle. But they don't decide. They prefer health over illness, but they don't commit. A decision is a line in the sand. A moment where you cut off all other options. It's not made with words. It's made with action. And here's what you have to grasp. The moment you truly decide, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match your vibration. People show up, opportunities emerge, ideas flow. But none of it begins until you make the decision and back it with behavior. You don't wait to feel ready, you decide, and readiness follows. Most people are trapped in the illusion of someday. They wait for the right time, the perfect plan, the guarantee of success. But someday is the killer of dreams. The great ones, those who truly create extraordinary lives, they don't wait. They act, even in fear, even in doubt, even when it doesn't make sense to the outside world. That's what separates those who watch life from those who create it. You're either going to live by design or by default. You choose. Now let's talk about fear, because this is where 99% of people stop. Fear is not real in the way most think it is. It's not a wall, it's a shadow. And shadows disappear the moment you walk toward them. You've been programmed to associate fear with danger. But in most cases, fear is a signal that you're moving in the direction of growth. That's right. Fear is often a green light in disguise. If you're not afraid, you're probably not growing. But when you understand that fear is a part of the process, not a barrier, you start to lean in. You face it, you take the next step anyway. And what happens next? You expand. You evolve. You rise. That's how you build confidence, not by waiting to feel fearless, but by acting in spite of fear. The truth is, the universe rewards courage, not hesitation. It rewards boldness, not perfection. And when you persist in the face of fear, the very thing you once feared becomes your foundation. You begin to realize that fear was never the enemy. Your inaction was. So how do you override fear? You use universal laws. The law of compensation, the law of cause and effect, the law of vibration. These are not theories, they're laws. They govern everything. When you understand these laws and align with them, fear loses its grip, because you realize you are no longer hoping, you are knowing. Every time you hold a thought, you send out a vibration. That vibration attracts results in harmony with it. If you hold fear, you attract more reasons to be afraid. If you hold faith, you attract more opportunities to grow. That's why mental discipline is not optional. It's everything. It's not about positive thinking just for the sake of it. It's about choosing to hold a vibration that matches the life you want. Because the law is always working, whether you use it consciously or not. So here's your challenge. From this day forward, I want you to become radically intentional with your thinking. You must become the guardian of your mind. No more entertaining limitation. No more casual complaining. No more repeating the stories that keep you small. Every time an old belief shows up, you replace it with truth. Every time fear creeps in, you move forward anyway. Every time doubt whispers, you can't. You speak louder and say, watch me. Now let's get practical. How do you sustain this vibration long term? You build a daily success ritual. You feed your mind every morning with powerful material. You write your goal in the present tense. You visualize the result until it feels real.
You speak affirmations as if they're already true. And you take one small step each day that aligns with your dream. This isn't about massive overnight change. It's about compounded action. You don't climb the mountain in one leap, you do it one committed step at a time. But every step you take moves you further from who you were, and closer to who you were meant to be. And soon, you don't just have a new life, you have a new identity. That's the real reward. Not the house, not the car, not the applause, it's who you've become on the way there. And let me leave you with this. The secret to a transformed life is not knowledge, it's application. You don't need more information, you need implementation. Knowing the truth doesn't set you free. Acting on it does. The people who change their lives are not the ones who watch the most videos. They're the ones who do the most with what they learn. So if this message has stirred something inside you, don't let it fade. Don't just move on to the next video. Make a decision right now. Decide who you're going to be. Decide what kind of life you will no longer tolerate. And then commit, with every fiber of your being, to becoming the person who lives the dream you see in your mind. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to this channel. If this has added value to your mind, your spirit, your journey, imagine what would happen if you heard messages like this every day. Surround yourself with truth. Let these ideas reprogram your paradigm. This isn't just a channel. It's your new mental environment. Come back to it daily. Let it remind you of who you are and what you're capable of. You were born to do something extraordinary. The power is in you. The decision is now. The journey is yours.